Hey everybody, Pat here with Farland Classic Restoration. Today we are starting off this Farland Friday just inside the shop here. I could not get my Wi-Fi working, so we're starting off with this 190 SL. Over here in the shop, I want to say this one is from 1955. It came in for some mechanical work, hadn't run in many years. So our awesome technician Clint went through, worked a little bit on the fuel lines and the fuel pump, and got this one back in running order. Very cool look on this 190 SL. Definitely don't often see them in red. Let's see if I can get this door here very carefully. Of course, all the 190s have the color matched interior, and very cool on this one, radio delete. Maybe it was never installed from the factory, so could have just not been optioned on this one. Another exciting one on here is the 4-speed manual. Definitely one you don't see super frequently on the 190s. I've seen them a little more commonly on the later W113 chassis, the 280 SL, 230 and 250, but still a very cool look on this particular car. You can see there's still little things to do. We've got some convertible top work we can address there. And although the car is great from 10 feet, there is a few spots that we could definitely work on with a little bit of body work, just depending on what that owner is looking for. But there's a good little example of it. You can see the light reflecting just a bit of a divot there. So the 190 SL on those lovely white wall tires. We'll do a cool spin here, work our way into the next one. The 1962 Lincoln Continental. Just cleaning up the last few things on this one, getting it all ready to go. Recently had some AC work done, and then we've also hidden that battery tender up on the front end there. I'll find that. There we are. From there, we'll spin over to some of our installs. All the parts for the Ferrari Daytona, which we have Josh working away on over here. See, we're starting to get carpet, that kind of stuff in. Have to rework this carpet just because of some modifications in the rear here. Josh is working on some custom seat belts over there. I'll spin around this other side and get a glance at them. So we're going with a 3-point design on this one for both comfort and safety. Josh has been toiling away on this one the last few weeks as we get everything squared away. Putting in that Dynamat, the custom parcel shelf back there, and then you can see the seatbelt design he's come up with. We're going to be testing that one out, making sure that works with the owner, but from there we will be moving ahead. Some other recent work on the Daytona was respraying those wheels. Josh also these center caps here. Sorry about that on the camera there. All right. I apologize there. The camera is not wanting to work with me today. These days. You're gonna keep throwing in that? Dang. Alright. We're fighting it today. That's how it goes. This is one we recently finished up. The 2007 Porsche 911 Targa 4S. Our upholsterer Rihanna has done some awesome plaid inserts on these seats here. Definitely brought some real character to this interior here. But the Targa 4S, it does have that rare 6-speed. Very well optioned on this one. And then we also have those back seats done as well. So all throughout, looking good there. Just another for the Porsche party. We do have the 1955 Chevy Corvette back in the building. Recently had that top installed. Then you can see we've got a few kind of trim pieces for that top that need to be installed as well. So, again, this is the 55 Harvest Yellow Corvette, one of 125 that left the factory in Harvest Yellow in 1955. The special 1-year only color. We'll get a glimpse in that engine bay as well. Fun fact, the big V on the side of this Chevrolet Corvette signifies the first year of the V8. Before this, they all came with the inline 6 Blue Flame engine. You can see Chevrolet written on that header there. The big carb. Definitely an old school look on this 55. I really love the finned carburetor cap there. That's very cool. Over here we have our electric 912, currently going through some paint work, detailing. We'll spin over here and see what Dean is working on. Sanding that front fender. Grab a quick shot here for a minute. Corvette for a moment. Spin around over here. Again, this has kind of become the catch-all bay the last few weeks, right? We've got Porsche Convertible D parts, Daytona doors, the bumper to the 912 we were just looking at, and then some of the cadmium plating that Louise, our shop manager, is doing for, I believe, the Continental D project, but I may be incorrect on that one. Good little workstation here we've made up. Here's two more we have not seen a whole bunch of. This Jaguar XKE, Series 1.5. Can't remember the name for the, I believe it is the 2+2. So it is a longer body style for up to 4 to hang out. Hey, we got Tom here hanging out with us too.
Hey everybody.
Joining in for the live stream for now.
What's happening?
Over here is the 65 Chevrolet hood we recently painted. Rehanging that one, doing all sorts of work on this truck, kind of all around. One of my favorites that I recently got to see was our new technician, Zach, worked on this one and actually did all this white enamel lettering on the rear side of the truck. You can see we've still got some wet paint signs there, but seeing the way he worked that brush and just his knowledge behind the process was really interesting to watch. Definitely cool to learn about. And I mean, that looks awesome. Other than that, we have the Mercedes 280 SL top. I'm kind of squeezed in here, so I'm going to spin back around. The 1958 Porsche 356 Convertible D. We recently resprayed this entire dash, as there had been a spot over near the speedometer where there was an extra hole placed. You can see, you can't see now, but originally it was right there in between the three, kind of offset. So we went through and recovered that dash, Just making sure everything's looking consistent. Especially on the dashboard, that's something that the owners are going to be staring at quite frequently, you know, whenever they're behind the wheel. So good to dot our I's and cross our T's, make sure everything's looking fantastic. There's the 280 top. You can see we've sanded it, addressed a few little areas. Then we've got our special taping process. You can see we got 2 different layers of tape there, able to give us a soft edge on that kind of stuff. So we actually pull 1 layer of tape as the paint's drying, and that paint flow then is allowed a little more room to move and give us that soft edge. Here on that front callip, you can see a few different spots that we needed to address, but that should all get covered when we get through paint. Spin around this side here. Go head over to the dirty side of the shop, the metal side of the shop. Get my door. There we are. Another one of our trucks here in the building. Earlier, I want to say 34. I'm sorry, 51. Chevy pickup. Did all sorts of work on this one. Worked on that hood, repainted that to match. Of course, being it's over here in the metal side of the shop, that things are a little bit dusty, but keeping everything under wraps. Here's the 1967 Chevelle 396 SS convertible, one of around 1,300 built in 1967. And again, this is one we are doing some rear quarter panel work on. You can really see here with the covering that that body line is much better than when it came in after the accident. So, over here we have our newer Mercedes SL 6.3 AMG. I want to say from 2007. Looks like Jorge is giving this one the cleanup, so we'll get out of the way here. Got that front bumper pulled. That's one we're addressing over in the paint booth now. Getting that all cleaned up. Here, when I'm walking underneath, is our 1966 Porsche 911. One of the very early cars. This one has the Solex carburetors. Looks like this one recently went through that dry ice cleaning. Jack really loves showing that process off, cleaning up the undersides, and on this 66, that underside is looking absolutely gorgeous. So we'll admire things for a moment here and then spin around and show you that iconic front end. Dance around everything here, the big spin, and the 1960s. Porsche 911. Beside that is a bit of 280 work. This 280 SL is in for an engine bay restoration. You can see our newest technician, William, worked on this patented mobility system, so we're able to move the car around. Better than dealing with a whole big rotisserie, but still gives us room to work on the car. This one was over with our friends at Blast Tech Denver, here across the street. They went through and blasted this engine bay for us. That process is just so big. It's nice to have neighbors with those big systems so they can work on this kind of stuff. You can see down there, we've resealed our original Mercedes plate. Uh-oh, I'm gonna flip on the camera again. I apologize. Try to get it as best I can. You can see it right in here. So that is the original option code. Lists all the information about these W113 chassis. All of them have it here in the driver's side, just next to the hood latch there. So, kind of a sign of originality there, even on this engine bay restoration. So you can see William's also gone through and done an excellent job seam sealing the entire thing. this is one, you know, honestly, this is better than the way things came from the factory, just because we have time and ability to really focus on these more minute details as we're working on one car where the factory was working on hundreds or even thousands. So one other one I want to point out, William was really proud of. We may flip the camera here. You can kind of catch it in the bottom here. Right there is a channel originally from the factory designed to allow water to get out of the way and not sit in this actual this little bubble here. So while that one is the original factory side, this one needed a bit more work, and so William has actually copied that channel down in that same area there, making sure that this one will drain water just as it would have from the factory. So cleaning that one up will be epoxy and sealing and painting the bay, and then from there we'll be reinstalling the engine. Soon enough, this 280 will be back on the road. Over here is our 1962 Lincoln Continental. Just had the engine reinstalled there from our technician Clint. Glad to have this one running again. Lots of mechanical stuff lately, so that's definitely keeping us busy. Beside that, we have our 427 Corvette, the 190 SL, and I'll hang out here for a minute to appreciate all the work Zach's been putting in, doing the disassembly stuff on this 1968 Porsche 912 Targa, the soft window. One of my favorites to see was all the measurements and markings he did all along the doors and all the panels that came off, so we can make sure that that fitment is as good, if not better, when things go back on. So spin around, you can see we've got seats, interior bits, that Porsche 4-cylinder, and I love this original sticker hiding away underneath. Yeah, soft window pulled. Zach's working away there for us. Killing it as usual. We'll spin down this side, and actually, surprised I didn't catch this one earlier. Usually this is where we start the morning off. Here's another one of our 280 SLs in sun yellow. Clint is going through doing all sorts of mechanical work and a little bit of electrics, it looks like. He's got all sorts of pin-out points and diagrams for the electrical system as he's making sure the fuel pump, everything's working on this one. So this was a factory original color. We don't believe this car was originally that color. As you can see here in the dashboard, it was originally that Mercedes silver color, but you know, the yellow's not bad. Definitely its own unique look. Spin around to the other side and get a glimpse of over there. As far as 280s go, it is a bit of an odd bird. Maybe our big bird here. It has those black wheels, which I've never personally seen. I do know Mercedes offered color-matched wheels in the era, but this one has something a bit different. So spin around, look back here. See, he is pulling some stuff up to work on the distributor cap there. So definitely some fuel system we're working on here. So this is one, once we get it running, we will be reaching back out to the customer, kind of letting them know what the process would look like depending how far they want to go with this type of restoration. Again, I always point out the W113 notches. This car does not have the notched body to match. So this one does not have the notches. Classic example of, you know, technicians having a good little laugh as they roll by Clint and I chatting about all the fun he's having over here. There you can see that new fuel pump. The camera flips on me again. Next to that one, we have the 86 Porsche Cabriolet. You can see we've got rear bumper and fascia hung. Just trying to adjust everything, making sure fitment is absolutely correct. You can see we've got to pull this one up a bit, but that's what the initial measurements are for, getting us an idea of how everything's going to look. Doing much of the same up here in the front. I did hear Mario and our metal master John talking a bit about this one. This car had been involved in some type of accident at some point, as this bumper piston has actually been pulled back out and welded to keep its original look, but obviously is no longer providing the safety of that original crash piston there. So we'll get out of the way as Mario's doing some sandblasting, but spin all the way back around here. Maybe it'll be a little bit quieter. Try not to grab too much of our man John as he's working away. That's the one. That's it. The Ghibli headlights are working. Or they're up. It's not working yet. Soon enough. So when this one first came in, it was part of the Maserati trio that we've had down in the showroom. We had a 2003 Maserati Quattroporte, the 1967 Mistral, and this Ghibli all come together as part of a family trio. When this one came in, the headlights were actually only working on the passenger side over there. So we've had to go in. Obviously, you can see there was plenty of bumper and front fascia to remove, so we could get in and actually find that headlight motor to ensure it's working. And we've obviously pulled it. Gonna be replacing that one, and then soon enough these headlights will be popping up in style. Other than that, we have the 1966 Porsche 912. Haven't seen much of this guy lately, so I've got to re-familiarize myself here. You can see we are cleaning everything out, just beginning to get a new undercoating going on this one. This is just our loud Farland Friday. You know, you're gonna be trying to listen to me over this music and everybody working away, but that's how it goes. We got to get these restorations done. See, it's got that dog leg transmission there. Just sealing everything once more before we get back to reinstall and that sort of stuff. This paint cleaned up unbelievably well. Our detailer Dima, obviously working on that 912 over on the other side. He actually absolutely killed it on this one. The paint when it came in was worn, old, had all sorts of swirling. Just hadn't seen the proper care. So he went through, he's able to work with this one-stage paint and really bring everything out of it. Those reflections are just unbelievable in that one. Like a mirror. Only the best here at Farland.